I'm Jen Myers with Kunes Auto and RV, and it's time for another Kunes Car Convo. Today I'm picking up race car driver Blake Brown in this 2024 all-electric Chevy Equinox. How are you, Blake?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is not quite a race car,
That's all right.
but it's all electric. And I found myself driving here like a little too fast because I can't hear it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't driven a lot of EVs, but I've heard you can't even hear them.
I'm used to driving a Wrangler lately, so I can kind of like, gauge my speed by
Sure.
how loud it is. And
Not in
this I
one.
cannot, so it's dangerous. It'll be dangerous for you. So thanks for joining us. You are a race car driver.
I am, yeah.
What
And
kind of cars do you drive?
so I race, the division I race in, it's called a super late model. What I usually tell people, they're stock cars, kind of like a low level of NASCAR. So I race on paved ovals is what I've always done. I've never raced on dirt or road courses or anything like that. But started when I was 13 in some lower level divisions, kind of worked my way up into the super late model. It's kind of like the premier division at a lot of local short tracks around Wisconsin. So been racing those for probably the last 10 years or so, on and off. Actually probably longer, probably goes back 15, 16 years at least. And then super excited this year. Obviously what kind of brought us together is Kunes coming on board as our primary sponsor this year. So
And
super
let's be
excited.
honest, you are a Kunes.
I am, yeah.
Yes.
So Greg obviously is my uncle. My mom is
Your mom is amazing.
Yep.
Your mom's an office manager at a
She-
couple of our stores.
She is, yeah. She's worked at a lot of the different stores over the
She has,
years.
I think she was in service for a while.
Yeah, you're right. She was. I forgot. I had, I think, one summer maybe home from college. I worked at the Antioch store while she was in
Oh, did you?
service there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did oil changes and whatnot. So it's been fun.
Full disclosure, we could talk about his mom all day because I love his mom. But we're not here to talk about Jeannie. We're here to talk about you.
That's right.
But she would like to. She would like to talk about you.
No,
so.
yeah, for sure. No, she's done a lot for me.
Okay, so 13. You started at 13.
Yeah.
How did you start driving at 13?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's one thing that's pretty unique, obviously, with racing, is especially kids that get started out young. It's kind of funny. You get to drive a race car and go fast on a racetrack before you can drive on
Then
the
you
street.
can't drive, yeah.
Exactly. So you got to get a ride to the track, but then you can drive. So I got started through my grandpa. So Greg's dad,
Uh-huh.
actually, he raced when he was younger, before I was born, but seen cool pictures and heard stories and whatnot. And then he had been involved in racing ever since then, ever since he had quit driving. So as I was growing up, he owned a race team that traveled the country. They raced everywhere. It was the ASA Touring Series was what it was called. And I got kind of into it from that. I liked watching NASCAR and whatnot as a young kid, but kind of got to see more of what actually goes on, what race teams do and all that from my grandpa's team. And then he also, he bought a racetrack, Madison International Speedway
Right.
in Stoughton, Wisconsin. He owned that for, I think it was about 10 years. And my mom worked out there as well. So it was really cool. Kind of got to grow up out there. I remember summers we'd be out there, she'd be working in the office, and we'd get to go out there on weekdays, ride go-karts and golf carts and all that around the big track when nobody else was there. So it was super cool. But all of that obviously kind of got me to love racing more and more. And then when I turned 13, my grandpa bought me my first car. It's called a Bandolero race car. It's basically like a go-kart with a race car body on it.
Oh yeah.
So started out racing in those, and like I said, just kind of slowly started working my way up through the divisions to be racing what I am now.
So you race all over the Midwest, or just Illinois or Wisconsin?
Yeah, so we've kind of done different things over the years. Used to travel a lot more when I was younger. Traveled around quite a bit, probably the second and third year I was racing. Those were on what's called legend cars. Traveled around quite a bit for that. We had some big races down in like Vegas and Florida and whatnot, so that was fun. And then once I got up into the super late model when I was like 15, 16 years old. We started out just racing locally, which for me, I'm from Wisconsin, born and raised here, lived here all my life, but my grandpa, he lives Orland Park, kind of outside of Joliet, so that's where he had the race shop and race cars and all that. So that was kind of our home racing area, was down there.
Yeah.
So I really kind of grew up racing down there, like Grundy County Speedway and Illiana Motor Speedway in Indiana. Kind of Chicagoland area was really where I was based out of from a racing standpoint. So first couple years in late models, raced down there just to gain experience. Started traveling those first couple years as well. So we travel around the Midwest and follow the ASA series. So that was good for me to get to go to different tracks and get to experience different tracks of different sizes, and they all kind of have their different characteristics and whatnot. And usually traveling, I mean, there's stronger competition. You're racing against better teams and different guys and whatnot. So did a lot of that back then. Traveled around quite a bit around the Midwest. And then more recent years, so I took a couple years off when I was in college. It just got hard to go down, especially.
I'm sure it's a lot of travel.
Yeah, a lot of travel, and especially so with the race shop being down kind of Joliet area. I went to college at UW-Platteville over on the southwest corner of the state. Yeah, so it just got to be a lot to travel to the races, travel to the race shop, obviously be going to school and all that. So ultimately I ended up taking a couple years off of racing, got out of it, and to be honest, didn't really know if I would get a chance to do it again. Super expensive. It's not a cheap hobby. So didn't have the means to buy my own equipment and whatnot, especially when I was younger. So once I got out of it, didn't really know where it would go from there. But then 2019, I had a cool opportunity to get back behind the wheel. And then that kind of, I guess, got the fire burning again, and I wanted to try to make something happen. So what happened was a guy that I used to race against when I was 15 years old down at Grundy County Speedway, which is now kind of what my home track is. Guy I used to race against then, so we knew each other, we were Facebook friends and whatnot. I saw he had posted on Facebook in 2020 that he was looking for someone to drive his car. He had raced for a very long time, great driver, won a lot of races and championships, and unfortunately he ended up getting in a wreck and hurt his back. Kind of took him out of the car, but he still wanted to be involved in racing. So I saw a Facebook post from him just saying, hey, looking for someone to basically rent his car and race. He would prepare it, bring a team to the track and whatnot. So messaged him just to figure out, you know, what the details were. I still didn't expect anything to happen. But now it's crazy. That was back in 2020, and almost 5 full years later, we're still together, and we've been doing it ever since. So it's been really cool.
Oh, that's interesting. So is that common that most drivers don't own their car?
Yeah, so great question. I would say it's a mix, but probably at our level, I would say the majority of the drivers or teams do own their own cars. There are a handful out there that kind of are lucky to have a deal like I have, where I don't own the equipment. I basically get to show up and drive, and unfortunately, I should say fortunately, I'm very lucky that because of the distance, again, so he's based out of kind of that area down there close to Grundy, so it's 2 hours away from me. It's hard for me to get down to the race shop and help out and whatnot during the week.
Sure.
So that's the unfortunate part. The fortunate part is the team that I drive for is awesome. Jeff Olson, my car owner and crew chief, he's kind of willing to still let me drive the car, even though he's doing all the work. So exactly, I kind of get the fun part to just show up and race and drive. So super lucky to get to do what I do, and super lucky that I got hooked up with these guys. And it's cool that it's been fun for me, obviously, to get to race. It's kind of my passion, always has been since I was young. So love that I get to do that. but it's cool now, like the relationships and friendships and all that that's come from it with his family, his wife and kids. They've gone to the races ever since and help out on the team. And my wife, she's been going down there and she's friends with all of them. So it's really cool to see kind of what started out as what we thought was just going to be a one race deal. Now it turned into we're all great friends and almost kind of an extended family, and have been doing it for so long.
Has your wife ever raced or anything?
She has not, no, but so that's actually really kind of cool part of our story too. So she's never raced and wasn't really directly involved in racing growing up, but her family has.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're good. Her family has some really strong racing background. So her grandpa, he used to be a really big name, well-known racer at the national level. He used to race with guys like Richard Petty and AJ Foyt and some really big names. So when we had met each other, her and I, we met at our first job, just working at a pizza place in high school. Yeah. So not through racing or anything like that. She didn't know that I raced cars, and I didn't know that she had that racing background, but it was kind of cool after the fact to learn that about her family and all of that. Especially being that I had been racing for my whole life.
So you said the guy who owns your car hurt his back. So I think I've always thought like racing, I'm sure it's a skill, but it's not very physical, but it's a physical thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And it's different than the sports that most people think of, obviously football, baseball, basketball, all of that. I've probably spent a lot of time thinking about that over the years because, of course, when I was younger, you hear all the things about race car drivers aren't athletes and whatnot, and by no means am I the epitome of peak athletic performance, but what I've kind of boiled it down to is there's a lot of things that go into what makes it so challenging racing, especially the types of cars that we do. And I think it comes down to, number one, the speed. Obviously, I mean, we're going fast. I would say the tracks that we race at, we range anywhere from probably 95 up to 150 miles an hour.
Okay, is there ever time this self-talk where you're like, okay, Blake, slow down?
No,
you don't have that governor.
That's my mom's job. I think she probably still does that. But so the speed, that's cool. That's kind of the cool factor and part of it. But then you combine that with you're inches away from however many other cars, banging doors a lot of times at those speeds. But but then inside the car, it's super hot. It's probably at a minimum 100, 105, 110
in
degrees.
The car?
Yeah.
Seriously?
On hot days, I've put
You don't have air conditioning like this?
we don't have air conditioning.
Wow.
So I've put a heat gun in the car after I've gotten out of it, like after practice during the day and whatnot. And like in my seat, it was 117 degrees. And then down by my feet next to the engine, which is what makes it so hot, it was like 135 degrees, I think. So you're dying in there. You're just sweating. You're trying to catch your breath. You're wearing all your racing gear on top of it when it's that hot in the car. So now put that back with you're banging doors at 120 miles an hour, and it's competitive. So you're driving a car that is hard to drive. We set them up so that they turn as good as possible, which also means they kind of want to spin out if you're not careful. So you're trying not to spin out, trying not to crash, trying to beat the guys around you. All of that, I think, is what I've kind of just put together as what makes it so unique and so challenging to do.
Yeah, wow. So you seriously bang doors and that doesn't scare you?
Yeah,
no. Into each other.
Yeah. I think, for me at least, I think it's just growing up, like being such a big NASCAR fan and kind of seeing, well, that's what those guys are doing, so this is normal. Fearless. I think, just in my head at a young age, I probably got the mindset that that's just normal, that's what they do, and that's never really, I guess for most people it's not. So never really thought twice about it. So, and I've been really lucky. I've never been in any, I've wrecked cars, everybody has. It's just kind of part of it, but knock on wood, I've been pretty lucky. I've never really had any serious injuries or been in any really bad wrecks. So hopefully we'll keep it that way.
Okay, tell me this. So you've
Yeah.
driven for 20 years.
Mhm.
If somebody gave you like a Formula One car, would that be like totally foreign, or is it just like a different feel?
Yeah, no, it would be foreign. And as a competitive driver and a competitive mindset, I'd like to think that I could
Figure it out.
figure out
Yeah.
any type of car, but no, it would be just a totally different type of vehicle.
So racing is not racing. It's not racing. I mean,
Not-
it's
not
the same.
necessarily. Yeah. Again, I think there's probably a lot of drivers out there that can adapt to different types of racing and different disciplines, but yeah, I think it's probably just a different world going from different cars, especially from like stock cars like re-race that, I mean, they're essentially like factory cars that you're driving on the street, built for racing, but you've got fenders and doors and
Yeah.
can bang doors and whatnot. F1 and IndyCar and cars like that, they're open wheel, so you can't do that in those cars. And those cars, like aerodynamics is a lot more important than some of the stuff we do, and it's a different world, I think.
Huh. Interesting. So, do you consider yourself an excellent driver on the roads, or are you a little reckless?
Me,
Yeah.
I think I'm an excellent driver. I think I'm probably aggressive. If you ask my wife if I'm an excellent driver, you might
That
get
might
a
be a
different
different
answer.
story.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd like to think I'm a good driver, and I've thought about that too. So I think when I'm racing every weekend, going 100 miles an hour, and things are happening so fast in a split second, obviously you need to have good reaction times for that. So to me, I think everything on the road, even on the highway and whatnot, everything just happens so much slower
Yeah.
compared to what I'm used to. So I think it makes it just that much easier.
Now, you have kids, right? Or a kid?
I do, yeah. So we've got one son. He's turning 2 later this year.
So clearly not racing yet, but do you think you'll get him into it?
If he wants to, and so far, I mean, we kind of made the point since he was born, we didn't want to like push our hobbies on him, but it's also kind of hard when we're at the track
That's what
all
you
the
do
time,
all
and
the
he's
time, right?
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just exposed to it, so he definitely seems to like it, and that's been honestly, it's probably my best racing memories are happening right now. Just with him being at the track, and it's cool. Like
Oh,
every
yeah.
week, going home, and all he's talking about is Dada's race car, and wants to watch our track. They record all the races and they'll put them on YouTube. So he likes going back home and he wants to watch them on TV and all that. So
That's fun.
it's been super cool. So he's definitely interested. He's got his own Power Wheel race cars and all that. That he's already. I mean, he legitimately impresses me at his age, just being a little over a year and a half. How good he can drive on his own around the yard and avoid obstacles.
Okay, so if your parents didn't get you in racing,
Yep.
what do you think your sport would be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, I don't know, the only thing I could probably guess is baseball. My dad, he played baseball his whole life and then played softball and whatnot when he was older. So I grew up playing baseball for, I think, probably 10 years when I was a kid. And I essentially kind of quit playing baseball to start
drive.
racing. So, yeah.
So do you think you would have the fan base you have playing baseball that you have now?
I find it hard to
As a
believe that I would.
30-something-year-old softball.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not.
So tell me about your fans. How fun is that?
It's awesome. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about it. Is like, for me, I'm just doing what I like to do. Like,
You're
I'm
just
just
driving
having
around
fun.
in circles.
Exactly. Yeah, I love to do it. And like, it's so cool. Especially, I'm really glad that like I've started to recognize some of this stuff and like appreciate it more. I think as I got older, just how cool it is that I'm just out there kind of doing what I love to do and having fun, but there's people that are paying to go to these races because they like to watch us race and do what we love to do. So
Yeah.
it's super, super cool, and I'm super fortunate to have the awesome fans that we do.
So this isn't your day job.
Correct. No.
So how many hours a week do you think you put into it?
So for me now, especially kind of with the super lucky deal that I have right now to get to show up and race at the track, we race most Friday nights, so I usually get down to the track around probably 4 o'clock. I get out of work a little bit early on Fridays, drive down to the track, get there around 4. We'll have a couple practice sessions and qualifying, and then we race at night. So by the time I get home, usually probably get home about midnight, maybe, give or take, Friday nights. So yeah, I would say it's probably those, whatever, 7-8 hours every Friday night that I'm doing it. But
so if you weren't the cushy team member who didn't have to do all the things, like, would you be tinkering in the garage or?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, to especially give my guys some appreciation. I mean, they're spending, it's anywhere from, if you don't tear the car up, which unfortunately, bad timing. Right now, we just tore the car up a little bit last week, so they're busy working on fixing stuff. If you don't have to deal with that, there's still a lot of maintenance and car setup and that kind of stuff to do. I would say, I mean, it's anywhere from, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours a week to, I mean, it can be another full-time job after your day job just to get the cars ready for the next race. So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it.
And then how long are your races in a day? It's not like NASCAR where you have a pit crew changing up.
No, good question. That depends too. So it kind of depends on what race we're doing. So what we're doing now, most of our races at Grundy on Friday nights, they're 40-lap races. So we'll have a shorter heat race, kind of a preliminary race earlier in the night, which is only 8 laps. And then we'll have a 40-lap race. But we've got some special events and some bigger races down there throughout the year that those are usually 100 laps. And then we've traveled around when we were traveling and doing some of the bigger traveling races. I've run a couple 250 and 300 lap races.
Wow.
So those, we'll have pit stops where we stop and get tires and fuel and all that. But
how long is that driving?
It depends how many wrecks and cautions there are, but I would say those long races, I bet they probably take hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe.
Wow, are you just exhausted after that?
They can be, yeah. I would say most of them, I mean, you're usually wore out, you're tired. Makes it even worse. I mean, if it's the middle of the summer and it's a really hot day, and it makes it that much harder. So, usually wore out by the end of it.
And then, okay, so it's August, I think, 4th today.
Yep.
So this might not be seen for a couple days, but what does the rest of your season look like?
Yeah, so we've got a couple regular nights left at Grundy, just a couple regular Friday nights, but then now, especially later in the season, we're starting to get into when all the bigger special events happen. So I would say what's one of our 2 biggest races of the year is 2 weeks from now on August, I think it's the 16th. That Saturday is the ASA Midwest Tour, is the touring series that travels around the Midwest that I used to race. They go down to Grundy, to our home track.
So it's a big event.
Yeah, so it's a big event. Be a ton of fans in the stands. They'll probably pack the stands there, and then we'll probably get anywhere from 25 to 30 cars show up from guys traveling from different states and whatnot. Those races usually pay a lot more too, so that'll be a big one. And then at the end of the year is our other big race down there. It's Bettenhausen Memorial is a race that's been going on since I think the 70s.
Wow.
So that's another 100 lapper that we have in September. So got some big ones coming up.
Super fun. Well, we're coming back to the dealership. Tell me your absolute favorite thing about racing that you'll cherish for your whole life.
Oh,
Put me on a spot.
Yeah.
I can start with 2 truths and a lie if that one's easier, whatever you want.
No.
Okay.
So I would say, I mean, for me, it's just, I love the driving aspect of it. Like, I love the competition. I'm huge on, I've loved always having GoPros in my car, so I always love going back and watching my races, usually multiple times the next week, just analyzing different things that happen, things that I could do better. So I love just kind of, I guess, honing my craft from a driving standpoint is really what I enjoy.
Okay, give me all your socials.
Yeah, so really the main one I have is Blake Brown Racing on Facebook. That's where I post all of our racing updates, racing pictures, GoPro videos from the races. So those are all on Blake Brown Racing on Facebook.
Super fun. It was great talking to you. We're stuck at a stoplight here, and our little GoPro battery blew up before, so we're kind of wrapping this up because it might blow up again. But it was great talking to you, Blake. Thanks for your time.
Oh, absolutely.
Great meeting you. Or great meeting you.
It's been fun. Appreciate
Have
you
a
guys
fun
doing
rest of the
this.
season.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.